How's it going, everybody? So, in this video today, I want to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. I have about 10 hours in the game so far. Haven't been playing it as much as I want to be playing it, but nonetheless, I'm still playing it. I'm enjoying it. I want to give my initial impressions. Now, this is a pretty big game. It's going to be pretty long at the rate I'm playing it, and I want to really take my time, but at the same time, I still want to go through the story at a normal pace because I'm a big story guy before anything. I love a good story in any game. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Actually, before we get into it, I'm going to show you how much of a fan I am. Like, I have Aloy as my hold on, let me make my wallpaper a little bit brighter. I have Aloy. This is what I look at every time this is on my phone 24/7. I love Aloy. I even have her. She's my lock screen, and let me see if I could show you guys. Let me pull the screen back. Crap, I can't really show you, but you could barely see it on my wallpaper on my phone. But that is Horizon Zero Dawn. I enjoy this game a lot. This game, man, it's amazing. But I want to go ahead and just talk about this with you guys. Hopefully we can share some pretty amazing experiences in the comment section below. So let's go ahead talk about it. Now first, I want to talk about Aloy, the main character. Now, okay. Here's the thing. Now, she is voiced by the same voice actress who's voiced plenty of other characters, but one of the more memorable characters to me is Chloe from Life is Strange. Now, the thing about that is when I was getting into this game, I was really expecting to hear Chloe constantly. I was kind of expecting to, I don't know, going into this, I just expected to hear Chloe. And while you can easily tell it's the same voice actress if you listen hard enough, the thing about it is Aloy and Chloe are two completely different characters. I was kind of afraid of that. I was afraid that they would be the same character in both games, and it would just be one giant, like, I was afraid the characters would not be different enough for me to distinguish the two, but that's not the case. They're actually very different. In fact, when I hear Aloy, I don't hear Chloe. I hear a completely different human being. And I know to say human being, that's a little bit ridiculous because, well, they're video game characters, they're not real life individuals. But with these games, they're so lifelike as is. Aloy is like her own individual, and Chloe is the same. They both are very rich characters, and even though they're voiced by the same voice actress, they're completely different. And it's so mind-boggling that they can even pull something like that off because, again, they're voiced by the same. And they don't really do much to make the voices different. I mean, you can clearly, if you put Chloe's voice here and Aloy's voice here, they sound exactly alike, but their personalities are so different that they feel like I'm listening to a completely different person depending on who's speaking. And that's something I've never really experienced in a video game before. I've never, well, I mean, I have in some cases, but for the most part, it's just really rich, I guess. Like I've never heard that from a female voice actress, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the character Aloy, she is a character who is an outcast, and she is pretty much trying to learn the secrets of her past. She's trying to learn why she's an outcast. She's trying not to be an outcast. And for those of you who don't know, an outcast is pretty much in that world, it's someone who's pretty much removed from society. They're removed from civilization, not civilization, but they're removed from everyday things that me and you do. Like, let's say you go somewhere, you talk to people, you get to do this, you get to do that. Well, outcasts, they don't have that luxury. No one talks to them, no one speaks to them, no one's allowed to have any kind of conversation with an outcast. And that being said, they pretty much grow to live really, really lonely lives, and she's been an outcast since birth. So that being said, she's always being shunned away. She's always been picked on. She's always no one, like, it's funny because she has a very, she reminds me a lot of Naruto, because for those of you who remember, in the original Naruto series, when it was actually good, I'm not gonna get into that, but when it was actually good back then, Naruto was shunned away because he had the Nine-Tailed Fox spirit inside of him. That being said, everyone knew that same demon that's within Naruto has killed their parents or destroyed their village, and no one really liked him, no one really spoke to him, and he was just shunned away. And the thing about it was, back then in Naruto, no one was allowed to speak of what happened, like, what was it, 10 years ago back then? And in Horizon, no one's allowed to speak to Aloy because she's just an outcast, and that's against the law. Like, literally, speaking to outcasts is a law. It's really sad if you think about it. Like, imagine being shunned away like that. Like, everything you do, no one's allowed to speak to you, and it's literally a federal law if someone tries to speak. Like, someone can go to jail or receive some kind of punishment just from speaking to you. That's insane. That's crazy. But yeah, she's an outcast, and one thing I like about her is her character is very it's very different in the sense that they don't try to make her character, I guess, how do you put it? I can't think of the word right now, but her character doesn't care about fashion, doesn't care about appearances. She's more of a soldier kind of character. Like, you take, for example, Lara in Tomb Raider. You know, big tits, big butt, all that nice stuff. But at the same time, the developers, when they were making her, they kept that in mind. You know, that was a thing that Lara had in Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider, and even the older games. And you know, she kind of had that fashion thing going with her because there were some DLC outfits that included a little bit of fashion. Not with Aloy. Aloy is a complete soldier through and through. She's not some hard ass. Well, she eventually becomes a hard ass, but she doesn't immediately become some hard ass with super flexible, super big muscles that can do this, that can do that. You kind of mold Aloy into your own character as you progress through the game. I mean, she's literally like just the average. She seems like the average teen who's no bigger than me, and she is just a character that you mold into your own. That you get to choose some of the things she says, and it's really cool because while Aloy is her own character, at the same time the player gets to make her into their own Aloy in a sense, and it's really cool, and it really lets you relate to the character. And I like how, you know, games like these that are the beginning to a franchise, because it's pretty obvious at this point that Horizon is going to be Sony's next big franchise. It's going to be their next Uncharted. You know, with that, it's like you really get to play as Aloy from beginning, like from the very beginning. Once we get to the third game in the franchise, we'll actually get to see that a character that starts from being a baby all the way to like her last adventure, because we have her starting off in the game as a baby, literally as a baby, and then you play from her as a baby to, like, I think she's like 8 years old, to eventually being a young adult. And it's really cool to kind of see that progression stage, and especially when this is the beginning of a franchise, we get to see her as a baby moving all the way up. Again, very similar to Naruto. And you know, so far I like her character. She's just very different. She's not, you know, doesn't have, like I said before, the big boobs or the big butt. She's just a average character that does not have the modern day similarities as your average everyday heroine in a video game. She's not like Quiet from MGS with big boobs. She's not like Lara from Tomb Raider. She's just her own. She's a very unique character, and I like that a lot. I really respect that, and the character has a lot of clarity, a lot of personality. She's very unique in a lot of ways. I just overall like that a lot. Okay, now now that we've gotten that out the way, I want to talk about the open world. And now this game is supposed to be a post-apocalyptic open world game where society has fallen, and society, you know, today has fallen pretty much, and we are referred to as the old ones who pretty much we had the world a certain way, and then society, I actually know how everything fell. I'm not going to spoil it in this video, but it's pretty cool once you found that out. I just realized it last night. I was playing on stream and I just got to that part in the game. It's really cool. But yeah, society has fallen. We refer to as the old ones, and the game is very rich in detail. And what I mean by that is I feel like they really went out of their way to make this game seem so unique and so different from most post-apocalyptic games. I mean, we could take the average, you know, zombie apocalypse like The Walking Dead, The Last of Us, games like that, Days Gone, where it's all like zombies, post-apocalyptic. That's really cool. I love that. Those are my favorite kinds of games. But this game is very different. It's post-apocalyptic, but with machines that are pretty much like dinosaurs. And we, as humans, have referred to the primitive stage in life, where we don't have, the average everyday cell phones or video games and things like that. It's very different. We don't have technology like machine guns and M16s and all of that. Things are very different. Like I said, it's very similar to Far Cry Primal in this respect, because it's very primitive. It's very old. I mean, there is technology, very advanced technology that was found, that was there from thousands of years, well, 1,000 years ago, and you can find some of that tech and use some of that tech, and it fits in so perfectly. And instead of there being dinosaurs, which I think would have been really cool as well, just regular dinosaurs, instead of that, it's now machines. And now you have like a lot of similar things to alligators, Tyrannosaurus rexes, and these are very giant creatures. Keep in mind, they're not, when I say alligators, I don't mean your average alligator that you would find in some kind of swamp. This is the kind of alligator that's a machine, and that is the size of I can't think of this. I can't give a good enough example, but it's probably the size of like a Cadillac or something. Like it's really big, probably bigger than that actually. Now that I think about it, those things are huge. And one thing that was really cool was they took a lot of modern day insects and a lot of things from the past, like of course dinosaurs and things like that, and they've made them into machines. Imagine a giant lizard. Okay, that's in the game, all right, and it's really cool. It's really eerie and creepy, and the sound design, oh my god. The sound design along with the open world is really good, because, when you make a game that's open world, you gotta have good sound design, because there's a lot of things going on. Sound is important. And when you're playing, of course, when you're not doing anything, I mean, the world is still going. The world should still be moving, and there still should be sounds going around, in the back. Like, take, for example, a game like GTA. You can sit still on, like, the side of a highway. You should still hear cars driving by, things happening, birds, what have you. Everything should still be making noise. In this game, Aloy is sometimes giving out like she's just saying random things about this, about that. Sometimes in combat you can hear her like whispering things before something happens, and then you have like the machines that make these really gritty sounds that sound so authentic. And I heard that when doing that, what they did was they ended up making a lot of their own sounds by scratch for a more natural and more realistic sound design, which is pretty cool. But so yeah, the sound design from, like, you can hear the wind picking up, you can hear a lot of different things. Like, I can't tell you everything because I'm not even done with the game, but there's so many different little minute details in the sound design. Some things I might have missed, some things I've heard, and it's just really, really crisp. If you have a good, like, decent sound bar or a decent headset, you'll really be able to fully take advantage of this game's beautiful sound. Gameplay. Now, the gameplay in this game is by far, I never expected it to be this good. I did not expect the gameplay to be this smooth and this solid. The game, when I say this gameplay it's very rich. And what I mean by very rich is that there's a lot of different things you can do. I mean, I remember I was playing and someone in stream told me you can slide while shooting an arrow while being in slow motion. That was probably the coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Imagine a machine-like bird coming your way, right? It's about to swoop down on you. What you can do is you can run at it full speed, press square, slide, pull your bow out with like fire or something on it, and just like in slow motion, shoot it. And then like hit the bird. Like it's so cool. There's a lot of rich moments like that. You can slide, jump, you can make traps, you can make traps, craft potions, lots of crafting. The crafting is actually pretty simple in this game. There's a lot of looting, lots of stuff to loot, obviously, since, it's a post-apocalyptic game. That being said, you're going to be low on certain things from time to time, and the looting is something that's very simplified, like, very similar to The Last of Us. Not as simplified as The Last of Us, but it's very similar to it in a couple of ways. And it's really cool how, you can just do so many different things. I don't want to spoil too much, but the gameplay, the sliding is really cool. You can jump off of stuff and like jump off of things in slow motion while pulling your bow back and shooting stuff. It's really cool. You can set traps with like oh, that's a bit of a spoiler. I don't want to say that, but you can set traps. It's really cool. I don't want to talk too much about the gameplay because there are some people who are watching this video probably who have not played the game, who don't know that much about it, and I don't want to spoil much for you, but just know the gameplay is awesome. It's rich. It's cool. A lot of different things you can do. There's so many different ways you can play the game. You can play the game stealth. You can play the game balls to the wall, like I like to do personally, and there's just so many different things. You can also cheese a lot of things in the game when it comes to certain boss fights. I'm not going to spoil that, but you can cheese a lot of stuff if you really know what you're doing. But so yeah, to wrap up this video, Horizon Zero Dawn, so far it's been great. This game has been in production for 6 years. I heard on a video. So I mean, it's been in production for a long time. I think Guerrilla Games has just really knocked out the park. And another thing I want to touch on is the photo mode, okay? I'm not a photographer by no stretch of the imagination. I don't know anything about photography at all. I mean, I know a little bit, but not enough to really speak to someone who knows more about it than me, or speak to someone who's very knowledgeable in that field. But in this game, photo mode, this is the first game I've ever fully taken advantage of photo mode. I am constantly making cool little images. I'm making awesome little pictures. I'm doing so many different things, and it is so much fun. I fully enjoy photo mode. It is awesome. And you know, now that I've done so many cool things, like it's gotten so fun to the point where I will set up random events just to take a cool photo. Like I remember one time specifically what I did was I saw a machine, I think it was a saber something, I can't think of the exact name, but I jumped off a rock, pulled my bow back, pressed start, went into photo mode, and just kind of like I tweaked the picture to my liking, added some depth of field, and it's very simple. All you do is literally press start, go down to photo mode, and just edit the picture however you like. You can hide the UI, you can add depth of field, you can add like different borders to make it like a movie, you can add like the Horizon logo, you can add so many different things, the contrast, the filters, like it's so crazy. You can do so many things with the photo mode, and now that I've seen that, I really want to go back to other games like The Last of Us, the Uncharted games, and just really fool around Batman and fool around with the photo mode and just see what I can do. Make a little cool portfolio of all the cool different things I can do with photo mode. But Horizon Zero Dawn, great game, fun. I'm enjoying it so much. This is not a review. This is just the first impressions because there's a lot more to do in the game. I'm only 10 hours in, still going through the story, still seeing everything there is to see. So yeah, really good game, highly recommended if you're looking for a PlayStation exclusive. And yeah, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you think of Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm talking too fast. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, have a great day.